Hello and welcome to the name that I like to give to this course is Introduction to R Open Source Programming. The administration decided to call it something else. That's fine. I'd like to thank you all to register. This is the first time we have more than 70 students in the class. This is my first achievement that USF recognized that as a platform that we can apply, and it is necessary to do that. I will try my best to convince you that you made the right decision to register to this class and participate in one of the more exciting field in today statistical and visualization computing world. R is a very powerful language. Before I start talking about the R, I would like to start about the syllabus so everyone will be clear about that. As I said, I have quite a few students in the class, so there is a distinction or two session, undergrad and graduate, and in both cases I try to outcome what both session will learn. You're going to learn how to write R, or how to use the R programming to conduct statistical and analytical analysis, but also provide the ability to write your own module and the ability to create graphs, and in the end create your own package because it is open source. The idea that we can create our own packages is something that is really important and something that I really appreciate about the R, but I will talk about that in a few seconds. The textbook in this class will consist of traditional textbook that was written almost 7 years ago, The Art of R Programming, and the textbook is about the R console and not the R Studio, but it is good foundation to it. You can find this book used or in used book stores or online. I'm sure that will not cost more than $20 or $25, and I highly recommend because this is the foundation. The second book is basically how to create an R package, and the writer of the book is the guy that basically wrote one of the most popular R package ever written, called ggplot2, and we will talk about that. What is the ggplot2? Why is it so popular? And the textbook itself is not expensive. This is but he wrote a very nice or create a quite nice website for the book itself, and so it covers all the things that you can see. And the source of the book is available in GitHub, and so we will use all these resources in our class. Last issue that I want to focus is that many of the students who are not coming from the School of Information, coming from ecology. And so one of the textbooks that I like to recommend to those students is the Ecology, Statistical and Theory by former professor in USF, Fox Gordon, and his colleague. And so this is part of, if you like a good textbook that you will see the terminology, I highly recommend to it. How I'm going to teach this class? I'm going to have online lectures. I'm going to give you an assignment that you're going to post on a blog. You have different options of a blog. Example, you can use whatever blog you like, or you can use it even in GitHub blog that allowed you to post all the things that you want. So this is options that I want you to play. And then we're going to have different readings and blog posting from other people that entail in the R community. I want you to engage in the R community because it will give you, I cannot answer all the questions. I have too many students, I don't have a lot of resources. So the R community offers quite a lot of resources, and I will point out those resources. So if you are running into problems and I cannot help you immediately, those resources might be in hand. The grading for the class is based on the following. Personal blog, just to establish a blog, will worth 5%. Weekly assignment, every week you will have an assignment, 40%. You're going to conduct, become quite obsessed with peer review. I learned that my writing become better when I have peer review my work. Usually the peer review is not critical and not rude as a professor, so it will give you a different look at your work and give you some understanding how can you improve your work. And 50% is your final project. And again, this is, I want you to go over there, see if you understand. And I did not post the due date of the final. I will do that before in the end of the session, but you will have that available to you. Everything will be clear. So let's start about R and what is it, why is the professor so keen about that, and why is it so important. So R is different from what we are accustomed to see, such as Microsoft Office or Adobe Illustrator or Adobe product, is that it's open source, which means that it is the idea that we can allow the user to apply or change the settings of the application or create their own application inside this environment in order for them to gain more knowledge. So, example, Mozilla is probably the most well-known browser, one of the best browsers from my point of view, but it is part of the open source platform. PHP is another web programming language that is very popular, and again, it's open source, so everyone can see what other people did and how they did that. Open source R is basically the same thing, but R is, why is the name R and why did they came up with their name R? A little bit of history is in core. So the R was created in 1976 in Bell Lab. Nowadays it's AT&T that runs the Bell Lab, but it was created by one of the people that works there, Chambers, and he did the work, but it was not accepted by the higher management. So they stopped supporting his work, and as a result, he did not have any resources, and he decided to let it go and open it to anyone who wants to develop or spend time to develop it more. In 1995, two professors from the University of Auckland in New Zealand adopted the code that he gave and started to develop it. Instead of S language, they call it the R. Why R? Because their first two names, Robert and Ross, they decided to call it the R. So they call it R by the first name. So what is R language? R language is idea of object oriented, and the R language has, like any other programming language, has a syntax and structure that provides the ability to employ, analyze, or even create own functions that usually when today's environment does not allow us to do. So this is something that the R allowed us. It is an object-oriented language, which means that the object is the data structure that consists of the data fields and the methods we are going to see in R. And so the whole idea of R is that it allowed us to have additional resources. And one of the things that we often apply in R is the package. We can accept any packages that are available to us, and by doing so, anyone who develop an R package can be used all around the world. We do not give any restrictions money-wise or restrictions of the content, so everyone can use it. So basically, one of the things that Lineage in 2009 says about the R packages is basically a scientific article. Articles is the idea of providing the standard way to communicate scientific result, and the reader expect to use it in a certain format. So that's the idea of an article. Our packages are the same way. I will teach you how to communicate your module that you want to develop and your database that might be strange and might be weird, and we will learn how to format in order for the R to analyze it. And the idea here is that you will see a lot of R packages. There are more than 6,500 packages 2 years ago. Nowadays we are talking about 50,000 R packages available in the R repository. There is a repository that you can do and contribute to it, and so part of the R community is to handle this large amount of packages in order for us to apply that and to develop it even better. So what is an R package? Is basically a set of code that allowed us to run the package in the R environment, and it has a documentation and examples and ability to apply it and even to modify it. So whatever package you are using, you can always modify the package in order for you to write your own, and again based on what you need and wants. So what are we going to do in this class? First of all, I'm going to go over the syntax and grammar of the R, and then we're going to learn how to create an R packages. One of the things that I learned through the years is that we are going to apply 3 tools in order for you to do that. The R console, which is the old system of the R. The R Studio, which is a more version of the R console. It is based on modern interface. And the GitHub. Why GitHub? All the codes that are in packages are often used as stores in GitHub, so people will be able to store and to share this idea with them. So we will use the GitHub. You will post your assignment in 2 places. One in GitHub, and then the result or reflection of the GitHub code you're going to write your blog posting. And so the idea is that I want to make sure that you will write a correct code and you'll be able to share it not only in 1 place but 2 places, and be able to share it with other people. So those are the things that we're going to do. How do we get started? To load the R console, you have to load it. It usually comes in this interface. It's look like a terminal where you're going to write your code. So this is the standard way to do that, and this is again part of the platform. I want to make sure that you'll be able to run your code not only in the R Studio or not only in the R console, but also in both places. The R Studio is part of where we're going to use, because the RStudio interface is much more modern and not only terminal interface. It looks like that. But what I want you to be aware, when you go to the RStudio to download the RStudio, please do not download the web server, because they will charge you and you will not know where the price come from. So please do not do that. Do not download the server, even though you might have a server available to install in your own computer at home. Please do not do that. It's expensive. So the interface of the RStudio, we will work on that. This is something that I want to work. I will my lecture will be based on the RStudio, but sometimes when we are running into syntax problem, sometimes it will be easier to convert it to the R console, and the RStudio require you to have the R console installed in order for it to run better. The RStudio have 4 windows. The first one is the script editor. The second one is the R console that you already embedded. And then you have the variables in the workplace where you're going to see. And the last place is where you're going to see the R packages, where you can install the plot if you are going to generate visualization out of it, or file if you want to upload it to your work environment in the R. So basic function in R: help, summary, history, data, or quit are part of any terminology that we might have. If you are using as a calculator in R, again, this is a basic terminology to these functions, and I hope you will enjoy that. So again, I try to do that and try to explain that. GitHub. And GitHub is, again, inventory. And so the idea is that it is an open source, because you can share your code with everyone. And the idea here is to improve your work, as I said before. So the idea here is that it is basically version control. I don't know how many of you had experience working with version control in workplace that have more than 1 people in the floor. Usually they have a version control where they trying to make sure that everyone is synchronized with the control or the workflow of the code itself. So it allowed us to work with others. GitHub in this case is inventory of the workplace. So basically it's a good practice for you if you're going to work with a big company, or even with your students, to see what they have done in order for you to improve and be more concise about your code. So GitHub has many advantages. One of the advantages is the ability to work more efficient, better workflow, and of course there are always those who disagree, especially when Microsoft bought it and Microsoft paid high price to take part of the RStudio or out of the R community, but it helped us to grow a little bit larger, and nowadays the RStudio and the R community becoming a global phenomenon. There's a lot of competition with version control. There's a lot of other application. I chose GitHub because it's really easy. You just need to install the GitHub. You do not need to. I don't want you to post the code on your blog or in Canvas. In Canvas, I will get alarm when you post your code on it, because Canvas does not accept code. And so please do not post your code in Canvas. I need to repeat it several times because the system will not accept it. The only place that I want you to post your code is in GitHub, so you will have the ability to share it with others. You're going to see how to introduce yourself and how to apply that. This is my introduction, and how to get a account in GitHub is quite easy. And I also posted few videos on how to do that. Before I end up, I would like to say a few words of warning. And this is from Matthew Keller, who is a professor in Colorado and a good friend of mine. And he compared the R to like a bit of smoking. One of the things that we do not like of smoking is that it's become we cannot quit smoking. It's becoming obsession and become addicted. I hope that by the end of the class you will be addicted not to smoking but to R. And the objection is that it will help you in so many ways. So this is my short video and a lecture. My hope is that you will learn, that this presentation inspire you to become a R supporter and help the R community to gain new knowledge. And you are always welcome. I do not mind that people stop by my office or email me or text, whatever form you like. Make sure that you communicate. I'm quite open and I'm quite quick in responding. Sometimes I'm too fast, but I want you to feel comfortable that I will have your back in order for you to succeed in this class. So that's it. I hope you enjoy it. I hope that you learn about the R community. And until next time, I'll see you. Bye.